What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I wanted to share my thoughts on Operation Spectre Rising, more specifically what they've done to the black market and what they've added into the black market with this event. Just a heads up for those people that don't like when somebody is critical about the game, you probably don't want to be watching this video. I am really not happy with what they've been doing with a lot of the things multiplayer-wise with Black Ops 4, and this event is no exception. So the main issue here I wanted to discuss, even though there will be a few other issues that I want to discuss a bit later on, the main one that you've probably heard from other YouTubers is the amount of filler content they've added into the reserves. So with this event, they've added weapon charms, new camos, as well as like death animations, face paint, stickers, all that kind of nonsense. They have added a ridiculous amount of this content. Somebody did the math on this, I've been seeing it float around the community, but they've almost doubled the loot pool with this event, which might sound like a good thing because we're getting more content, right? We're getting more of this cosmetic content. Well, not really, or at least not to the extent that they would have you believe. What they've done with this is with the new camos, as well as the new weapon charms, and these new death animations, they are each tied to a specific weapon. So if there's a particular weapon charm that you want, when you get it, you don't get it for all of the guns. You don't even get it for like all of the SMGs or all of the assault rifles, for instance. You only get it for one weapon. This means not only do you have to be lucky to get the charm that you want, you have to also be lucky to get the charm on a gun that you actually use. Same thing goes with these brand new death animations, which I think are kind of neat. They're not too over the top from what I've seen so far. It's kind of a cool idea. But as it is right now, they're tied to individual weapons. So essentially what they've done here is they've just added a crap ton of filler content that you will most likely never get, even if you play this game a ridiculous amount. If you're not spending any money, the likelihood of you getting anything that you really want is super low now that we have this event and all this new filler content. So just to put this in perspective, to my knowledge, there's now over 1,000 items within the reserves. This is from previous events as well as the new event that they just added, and they pretty much doubled it with this new event by splitting those things up and tying them to each individual weapon. And on top of this, remember, you can get duplicates in this game, and once you get 3 duplicates, you get a reroll, and then you're guaranteed an item you don't have. And as a result, especially once you really start opening a lot of reserves and you get a lot of these filler items, you're going to be much more likely to continue to get those duplicates, and therefore, a lot of times, one reserve crate, which takes about an hour of gameplay time to get, will most likely just give you a duplicate. And you need 3 of those duplicates in order to get a brand new item that you don't already have in your inventory. What this means is, in the game's current state, it's not really reasonable for players to unlock all of the content in the game without spending a ridiculous amount of money on supply drops, and even then, there's a lot of luck involved with that, and it's basically a slot machine. So they hype these new things up, like these death effects as well as the weapon charms and stuff, and I thought, hey, that's great. That's much better than stickers, at least. If they're going to be adding that instead of stickers, I realize they have to have those common items in the game to give the loot pool some balance so rare things are actually going to be rare. But after seeing that these weapon charms are attached to individual weapons, same thing goes with the death effects and all of the camos that you're getting now, any excitement that I had for that is immediately gone. That is an absolutely terrible system. I would be okay if they made it tied to a specific class of weapons, so you get that weapon charm for SMGs or assault rifles or tactical rifles, for instance. I think that would be fine if they did it like that. But as it is right now, they just took it way too far when it comes to that kind of stuff. Now, a lot of you guys might be saying, well, it's just cosmetic stuff, and I agree with that. I really don't care if I don't have any weapon charms. It's not going to make that much of a difference to me. My problem now, though, is previous weapons that we've been able to unlock with events in the contraband stream, those are now locked in reserves. So if you just bought the game recently, or you got the game late, or maybe you're just one of those players that doesn't have the amount of time in the month to finish off that contraband stream, the only way that you can get those weapons that were added previously is in the reserves. Before this event, if you really put the time in and grinded hard from now on, you had at least a somewhat decent chance of eventually getting one of those Mark IIs in the supply drop, and therefore you would end up being able to use that gun. Now, with all this filler content, you can kiss those odds goodbye. The chances of you getting one of those guns, if you don't have it already in a Mark II variant, you will likely never see those guns for the rest of the year, unless they change something up with their system. This is the part that I find really frustrating, and this is the thing that actually set me over the edge with this. You guys won't be seeing a gun guide on the new LMG until I unlock it organically. So it'll probably be a couple weeks, but I refuse to support this system anymore. Previously, I was buying these weapons day one so that I could get that gun guide content up for you guys. This was easily justified as a business expense. I'd make that money back, no problem, right away. And I didn't really hate the system. I like the fact that we had the direct way to earn it, but over time, it's just been getting worse and worse. And with this Operation Spectre Rising, things got exponentially worse. So with Black Ops 4, they're not getting another penny out of me at all throughout the rest of the year. I feel they've really been disrespecting their multiplayer players. Blackout, they've been doing a pretty decent job with overall. I will have something to say about that a bit later. But when it comes to multiplayer, I don't feel like they respect their player base at all. And therefore, I'm not spending a penny on anything from this point on. So I hope you guys can understand that. The gun guide will be delayed for this LMG, but that's just how it's going to be. Now, I don't want to just complain to complain here. I would like to provide some actual feedback and suggestions that I would love to see that I also feel are reasonable to improve this system. First off, with the amount of filler content they've added, I feel like they could just get rid of the duplicate system. Make it so there's no more duplicates. Every reserve that you open is brand new. There are so many things in the loot pool now that the average player still won't even get close to unlocking every cosmetic item in the game. So if Treyarch really wanted to show some goodwill after screwing things up here, that would be a great step in the right direction. Another thing they can do if they don't want to get rid of duplicates is make it easier to earn reserves. Either reduce that timer, or better yet, something we've been asking for a very long time and something that would increase my playtime by a large margin. Give us daily and weekly challenges, and give us the ability to earn more of these reserve crates with these daily and weekly challenges. With daily challenges, it could be as simple as earning one extra reserve crate by completing a daily challenge. That would give me another reason to log on every day and at least play a couple games and try and work towards something. On the weekly side of things, make it so you earn a couple supply drops, where you actually get 3 items per supply drop, rather than just that one item that you get in a reserve. These challenges don't have to be very special, nothing like that, just some motivation to hop on and complete something for the day. If they were to add something like that in the game as well, I think that would significantly improve what they screwed up with this update. So that's my issue when it comes to the black market and the reserve side of things. I also wanted to talk about a couple other things that I really don't like what they did with this event. First up, the way they handled the new maps. With this event, for the Black Ops Pass holders, we got 3 maps instead of 2, which, if you guys remember, for the first 2 DLC packs, we've had only 2 maps per DLC for the Black Ops Pass holders. So 3 maps this time around, that sounded great. However, we now know one of those Black Ops Pass maps is WMD from Black Ops 1. This is a throwback map, and not only that, this is simply a remaster, not a reskin. So they didn't take the layout of WMD and completely reimagine it and give it a different theme and different style. This is literally WMD from Black Ops 1, and they've updated the textures for a more modern Call of Duty. That feels like a slap in the face as a Black Ops Pass holder. Yes, in previous years, we've had reimagined maps included in the Season Pass, but also in previous years, we've had 16 maps with that Season Pass that we had. So out of those 16 maps, we usually had about 4 of them that were reimagined, not remastered, reimagined with a totally different theme and actual work put into it. This time around, out of the 12 maps that we get as a Black Ops Pass holder, one of them is a straight up copy-paste job from Black Ops 1. I realize there's a little bit more work that goes into that than just copying and pasting, but not nearly as much effort as actually reimagining a map and giving it an entire reskin. So if they would have at least reskinned WMD, I would be a lot more forgiving in this area. But the fact that it looks and feels exactly the same as in Black Ops 1 is just ridiculous for a map that we paid for. Again, another thing here, if they would have brought WMD as they have it now in the game, and they made it free for everybody, it was just a bonus map for everybody, that would be awesome. I would be praising them for that. But that's not what they did. They gave it to the people that spent the money to get it. So once again, this is another situation where it doesn't feel like Treyarch is respecting their multiplayer audience at all. It seems like they're putting the minimum amount of effort possible in order to meet their obligations that they've set out with their Black Ops Pass. In previous years, we would actually get surprises. We would get excited for new content and new events and things like this because they actually seem to care about the player base. Not this time around. This time around, it feels like a skeleton crew is working on multiplayer and they're just barely hanging in there. Either that or whoever's making the decisions over there at Treyarch is completely incompetent and making horrible decisions for this game. One last note on the new set of maps that we got with this event that I wanted to make, and this one's a relatively minor one, but I still want to point it out. Why are the Grand Heist maps in this map pack mosh pit? The reason you're not seeing gameplay from the new maps in the background right now is I just can't get into a game on these new maps right now. I've been searching in that map pack mosh pit playlist, and I keep getting Madagascar, I keep getting Casino, I keep getting Lockup. I'm not getting these new maps in rotation. I have them there, I've played them a couple times, but as I'm trying to search for gameplay right now to make this video, I simply don't get into games on the new maps. So why are the old maps in this mosh pit? I want to play the new ones, but they're just not popping up for me. This brings me to the next thing I want to talk about, and I have talked about this a few times already with Black Ops 4, but it keeps getting worse and worse. I am losing interest in multiplayer, and I play Call of Duty for its multiplayer experience. Like I said, Blackout has been great, although why did they remove Alcatraz? That is a little bit confusing to me. I would have thought that they would keep that at least as a side mode for people, because I know a ton of people, that's all they were playing was Alcatraz, and now it's just straight up gone. But aside from that, just focusing on the multiplayer aspect of this, which is what made Call of Duty what it is today. It is the reason Call of Duty has been successful. It seems like they're not putting in the work, they don't respect the player base when it comes to multiplayer, and I just keep losing interest more and more. In the game's current state, I'm basically just playing this in order to do my job. I'm no longer playing multiplayer just to have a good time. If I'm thinking about hopping on and having a fun experience, I'm not playing Black Ops 4 multiplayer. Am I still enjoying making my videos and breaking things down? Yeah, absolutely. I still enjoyed making that type of content. But playing this game just for fun? Not anymore, no. It's run out of content for me. And I see one argument that has been popping up is, well, we didn't need all this stuff in the older Call of Duty games like Modern Warfare 2. We didn't have all of this post-launch stuff being added into the game. My argument for that is in Modern Warfare 2, that launched with so much more original content than Black Ops 4 did. Black Ops 4, if I'm not mistaken, launched with 9 original multiplayer maps. The rest were remakes. Many of the older Call of Duty games were launching with 15 plus brand new original maps. That's not even mentioning the weapons that are in the game. Black Ops 4 has one of the lowest weapon counts that we've seen for a very, very long time, both at launch as well as post-launch. COD World War II this time last year had so many more weapons than we have in Black Ops 4. I could hardly keep up with how many weapons they were throwing at us in COD World War II, and that kept the game interesting and exciting throughout the year. There was so much stuff to cover with that game. There was so much excitement around it because the system was reasonable as well. We had those armory credits we could use to get the guns day one without having to spend a penny as long as we worked hard and put the time in with the game. None of that is here with Black Ops 4. And this is really frustrating to see as somebody that wants this franchise to succeed. And I want the multiplayer to succeed as well. Treyarch is slowly becoming my least favorite Call of Duty developer. And before Black Ops 4 launched, I had the most hope for them. Black Ops 2 is probably my all-time favorite Call of Duty game. Black Ops 3, I think I probably played that more than any other Call of Duty game. I put so much time into that game, even though I also hated their supply drop system in that game. At least the gameplay itself had a ton of things to work towards, a ton of content, and it was actually enjoyable to play year-round. This time around, it seems like they're getting more and more anti-consumer, and they're not providing us with that content to keep us interested in the game in the first place. Like I said, I feel completely disrespected as a player on the multiplayer side of things, and I think it's time we see a repeat of what happened last year with Condry. I don't want to name any names, I don't know who's in charge, but whoever's calling the shots over there at Treyarch right now, I don't think they're in the right position. I think they should be moved elsewhere, and I think somebody else needs to take over, because this is just getting ridiculous, and I'm actually getting really sad to say that, because I want to be excited, I want to be hyped. I am totally willing to even spend money post-launch within a fair system, but we're not getting any of that with Black Ops 4 multiplayer. So I guess with that, that's where we're going to wrap this up. I'd like to know where you guys are sitting when it comes to all of this in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.